welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo.
And I'm Miss Joan Marie Musi.
And we have a fascinating show lined up for you. We have some folks from the 3rd Street Music School Settlement in Manhattan on 3rd Street, and they're going to explain to you this historic institution and what it does in spreading music throughout New York City and around the world. We have Nancy Morgan, who's the Director of School and Community Partnerships. We have Pam Peer, who's part of the New Horizons Band, and we're going to have a performance with J.T. Schaefer on the classical guitar, who's a student at the school. And we're going to learn about their upcoming concert series in the East Village near Abe Wall Park, which is across from St. Mark's and the Bowery. So there'll be free concerts there, and we're going to tell you all about that. So welcome, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All right.
Now,
Great to
one
have
thing
you.
is that the 3rd Street Music School Settlement is not on 3rd Street. It's on 11th Street. Now, it must have originally been on 3rd Street. Is that right?
Well, actually, originally it was in a church basement.
Okay.
It started out, actually, I believe at University Settlement in the basement, because there was a social worker named Emily Wagner who decided that she wanted to do something to bring some unruly children off the streets and to give them music lessons that would help them to actually have hobbies and get to know one another. And so what started out as a program for 12 children grew until now it serves 5,000 people a year.
Wow.
And in between the time that it was at University Settlement and on East 11th Street, it was, in fact, on 3rd Street. So it's gone through a lot of changes. It was actually founded in 1894.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
It's the oldest community school of music in the country and was the model for dozens of others. So it's got a long and distinguished history.
Well, it seems like a wonderful place, and there's so much going on there. And I thought it was just for children, but Pam, you're going to tell us a little about an adult band, right?
I am. It's a great place. I've been in and out of there for years. And I have a kids store on 9th Street and 2nd Avenue, and Nancy has been in and out of my store as well as the music school. And about 3 years ago, she brought me a flyer to put on my window that was asking people to join the New Horizons Band for Adults, which was at that point funded by the NEA, the National Education Association, and they funded them all throughout the country. But I finally got my nerve up and went over to join. It had started in September of 1908, I think, and I joined in January of 1909. 2009. Where am I?
You're not that old.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and I just love it.
Now, did you study music your whole life?
No, I didn't. I played when I was a kid. I played when I was in junior high school up through 10th grade, maybe.
Oh, so this revived an interest for you.
Absolutely. And I'd put down my flute for years, and my niece had it in Minnesota. She let it go for the guitar. It went back and forth, and I had it all these years. And during the 60s or 70s, my downstairs neighbor and I would get the flute and the bongo out, you know, and play
And do
our
that
song.
beatnik thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a cat that used to scratch my ankles when I played it, so I sort of stopped. And I just decided I wanted to do it again. And there are people in the band that had never before picked up an instrument.
Oh, how interesting.
There's a woman who's been an entertainer who started out playing the trumpet last year, and this year she switched to the sax, and she just did it automatically. A 77-year-old guy who had never played anything before picked up the clarinet. There's one clarinetist that just wants to become a more than adequate musician. And then I just find that people have goals, and it's very exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
It sounds fascinating. Now, JT, did you study at the music school as a child?
Yeah, I started when I was 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I've been playing there for 13 years now.
Excellent.
And, yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
And I heard that one of your teachers is a Let 'Em Talk alumnus.
Oh, yeah, he was on here once. Yeah, I looked up his show. I saw
Okay,
it.
and tell us a little bit about him. His name is?
He's Nadav Lev.
Mm-hmm.
I've had him as a teacher for, I think, 2 years now. Yeah, he's a good teacher, but I didn't actually see the whole show that he was
Okay.
on because I actually had to leave to go to the music school. So
All right, well, you can watch it later.
Yeah.
But he was a wonderful guest. Fantastic. Now, Nancy, tell us a little bit about some of these programs you have, because the way that I met you is that I saw a flyer for a free concert series in the St. Mark's Church yard. And we've missed one of them, but there's another one coming up this week. And why don't you tell us about that series a little bit?
Sure. Third Street is actually presenting a series of concerts every summer on Thursdays at 12:30, from 12:30 to 1:30. And these concerts take place right in front of St. Mark's Church on the Bowery in a little pocket park, which we call the Abe Liebwall Park. What's great about these concerts is that they bring together all different kinds of bands, presenting different bands every week. This is the flyer, and we can certainly send people flowers if they're interested in them, and they're also on our website, which is thirdstreetmusicschool.org. The next concert, which will be wonderful, is Arturo O'Farrell Latin Jazz Group. And yeah, he's amazing. And what's great about this series is it actually started 28 years ago when that little park was a place where drug addicts hung out, and it was a very dangerous part of the city. And one of the people who lived on Stuyvesant Street at the time and was the president of the Stuyvesant and 10th Street Block Association, whose name is Marilyn Appleberg, decided that she wanted to reform the area. And her feeling was that if the park was used for different purposes, then it would change. It would attract a different audience. So what she did was she convinced Abe Liebwall, who was the owner of the Second Avenue Deli, and Beth Blesser, who is the person in charge of community programs for Third Street Music School, to go in together and to create this series of concerts, which has been going strong, by the way, for 28 years now.
That's fantastic.
And it was the first concert series in a small park like it. Now there are many, many different concert series that you can go to, but this one really is unusual in being an early example of it.
And I love that it's a lunchtime thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people can just stop in and have a great break in their day, just to listen to some fantastic music and then go back to work, right?
And I love that there's so many different kinds of bands that play there.
Yeah.
So you don't get bored silly after the first week. You know, everything's different.
And last
Right.
week was a New Orleans jazz band.
It was,
Yeah,
and
which
we're going
is
to have
great.
a flamenco dancer later
Oh,
on in the
fantastic.
summer. We're going to have klezmer music. And then one of the most important concerts is actually Third Street Music School students playing themselves, and that's going to be on July 8th. What I like about the concert series as well is that it really is a neighborhood event. It represents a lot of the different ethnicities that we have right in the neighborhood, and it also brings in people from very young school children who attend a school down the block to people from nursing homes and other, it's really people
And we
who...
should emphasize too that it's free. There's
That's
no
really
admission
important,
charge
yeah.
at all. Everybody
Yeah.
can come. Anybody can come, and that kind of accessibility is so wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's one of the mandates of the New Horizons band, too, is to go forth and make music. We went to Times Square at Christmas and played out of our Christmas book in this, so it's a hotel renovated for the recently and not so recently homeless, and that was fun.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, that was
beautiful,
great.
it's a beautiful building that has a number of different types of tenants, but they have in common that they're low income. And we were able to play in this gorgeous lobby that had this huge high ceiling and stairways going up, and the band just
So the
came
sound
and
was
played.
fantastic.
It was amazing, yeah.
It sounds really great.
One
Well-
of the things that I would say too is that Third Street really is about community and building community through music. Whether it's our preschool programs or adult programs, it's all about reaching out into the community and making a difference.
How do you choose students? How do folks who
Yeah, is there an
how do
audition
they
process?
find how do they find you guys?
It's a variety of different ways. I mean, Pam talked about how I went into her store and gave her a flyer. So sometimes we're a little bit aggressive.
Everything works.
Yeah.
There's outreach.
Yeah.
That way.
But I think a lot of it is word of mouth. Many of our families come to us because they hear about us. But there is another way that we do bring in young students, and that is that 3rd Street has partnerships with about 26 different schools in the neighborhood, and actually now in some of the outer boroughs. And one of the benefits of partnering with 3rd Street is that students between the ages of 6 and 14 who are not currently students at 3rd Street may come to us on Columbus Day at an open house, tour the building, listen to music, and put down their top 3 choices of group classes or lessons that they might want to take during the year. And we try to place people in their first or second choice wherever possible, and the students get a full year of free lessons.
Wow.
Fantastic.
That's
Yeah.
great news.
It's a pot of gold.
Yeah.
It is. Now you should give out your website again, especially after telling people news like that, because
Yeah.
that's fantastic for families who can't afford music lessons, might have a gifted child that could
Right.
really benefit from this.
Yeah.
So where can they get more information?
Sure. It's, again, thirdstreetmusicschool.org. And these are schools.
And you spell out third, THIRD,
Yes.
not
The whole
the number.
thing is
yeah.
spelled out.
thirdstreetmusicschool.org.
And it's
Okay.
all one word.
Yes.
And I think one thing is that these schools contract with us for instruction, either in music or dance. And part of their benefit is that they do have these lessons, which are free the first year and very low cost the second year. And it's been actually a wonderful thing for our school, because most of the schools that we serve are in low-income neighborhoods and reach students who might not otherwise get, high
kind of
quality music and
opportunity,
dance during
yes.
the day.
Absolutely.
And so this has meant that our student body is a really diverse student body. And it's not simply students who hear about us through word of mouth.
Now, JT, do you plan to have a career in music, or is this going to be a hobby for you? Or
This is going to be more of a hobby. It's something that I really enjoy doing, but it's not my main interest. So yeah, I'm going to continue playing guitar in college and
all right.
keep taking lessons.
So you're about to go to college?
Yeah, in the fall. I'm
All
going
right,
to college.
great. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And what do you plan to study?
Computer science.
Great. All right, excellent. We
Very
might be
different.
conferring with you.
Well, music and numbers, and people that do numbers and music go together.
Seen that. JT Schaefer, we're so happy to have you here with your axe, and we were wondering if you could take a moment to play something.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be
We're looking
fantastic.
forward to that,
All right,
yeah.
let's step out of
Okay.
the way. And this is JT Schaefer. Right. That was wonderful. Wow, I love that. And it's so interesting because I guess there's techniques in different types of styles for guitar, but there's not, you don't strum it like a rock musician does, right?
Yeah,
It's plucking.
It's a different
Yeah,
technique, yeah.
that's amazing. It's very precise.
Yeah, it's, you know, I have to, it's like, you know, each finger matters.
Yes,
It's not...
not this, right?
Yeah.
It matters where it lands, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're listening to Let Them Talk, or watching Let Them Talk. I'm Paul Dirienzo with Miss Joan Remusi and our guests, Nancy Morgan, Director of School and Community Partnerships of the 3rd Street Music School Settlement, Pam Pierre of the New Horizons Band, and we just heard the music of J.T. Schaefer, classical guitar and a student at the 3rd Street Music School, which is on 11th Street in Manhattan. And and we're here really to announce a music festival or a music concert series that's going to be happening at Abe Liebald Triangle, or park across from St. Mark's and the Bowery Church on 10th Street and Avenue B. So we'll talk more about that and tell folks where they can find out more information.
It's a lunch series, which I think is wonderful, and it's every Thursday?
It's every Thursday at 12:30 to 1:30. Outdoor series, and frankly, if it rains, it's okay because we go underneath the portico of the church.
Oh, great.
So
rain or shine?
Rain or shine.
Free?
And, yes, we do have to stress that it's free.
Absolutely no admission charge for anyone.
Yeah, and what's great is that all kinds of people come to this series, that you'll see sometimes an elderly couple waltzing or doing a tango, depending on what the music
What the
is.
music is, sure.
And you see young children splashing in puddles if it's raining. There really is a community feel to this series. And many of the performers who perform here year after year have said that this is their favorite gig of the year, because they feel that the audience is so close to them and that they can really communicate with them. So it's something that we enjoy at 3rd Street, but it's also something that is meaningful to all the different participants.
Now you give other concert series as well, too. This is just the one we're focusing on today because it's coming up, it's free, it's in the neighborhood. But you do have other programs at the school besides teaching, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We have a faculty series that takes place that's a concert artist series on Friday nights at 7:30. Starting usually in early October and going through May.
Okay.
And our faculty, who are from all different kinds of backgrounds, play all different kinds of music, and even do tap dancing, will perform in our auditorium, the Anna Maria Callan Auditorium at 3rd Street. And it's a wonderful series.
Now
and that too
also
is free.
Oh, great.
That too
That's
is free.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think you charge for anything, do you?
Actually, I don't think, other than our anniversary luncheon, which takes place usually at the end of October, the beginning of November, which is a fundraiser, we don't. We have about 200 concerts a year that we produce, and
That's
students
incredible.
perform a large number of them. Sometimes there are 2 and 3 a day, and it's a big part of who we are as an institution.
Tell us a little bit again about, I know we discussed this earlier, but folks who are just tuning in, tell us a little bit about the history of the 3rd Street Music School settlement, how it began, how long it's been around in New York, why it's called 3rd Street but on 11th Street.
Okay. 3rd Street Music School Settlement was founded in 1894 by someone who I think we would consider a social worker today, whose name is Emily Wagner. And she founded it so that she could get some street urchins off the street and taking violin and piano lessons in a church basement. The program really took off, and it actually, one of the early presidents was David Manis, and he built it and actually also created a network of music schools like it throughout the country. So it became actually a model for many other music schools like 3rd Street. It moved from 3rd Street to its current spot
Location.
on East 11th Street in the early 70s, and it's been there ever since. And what's exciting about 3rd Street is that it's not a static institution. It's like the New Horizons Band started really 3 years ago, and it was something that our executive director, Lee Kuntz, who came to us in 2006, wanted to bring to the school, in large part because the adult population is becoming a larger and larger piece of our city and actually country. And we want to do programs for adults who are vibrant and interested in being involved in the arts. And so
how many people are involved in that band?
In this band, there's 22
Oh,
right
it's
now.
big.
And you have another one down at Hamilton Madison Houses?
Yes, we have a partnership with Hamilton Madison House in Chinatown, and they have almost 20 people involved there. And then the Stein Senior Center has an all-women's chorus,
Oh,
which
fantastic.
is called Pearls of Wisdom. And there are about 20 women in that.
Great.
So lots of different programs. We're continuing to grow them, and frankly, we welcome new members. And you don't have to have played an instrument to join. You just have to want to play.
And what's your website again?
The website, streetmusicschool.org, and 3rd Street Music School is all spelled out, all one word.
Great.
Now, I'd like to ask JT another question about when you started at the 3rd Street Music School, did you know you wanted to study guitar, or did you try a few different things and kind of latch on to that? Or
Actually, I did start with classical guitar, and I have no idea how that happened. For some reason, I just really knew I wanted to do
That's what you
classical
wanted to
guitar.
do.
So yeah, I've been actually, studying guitar for 13 years.
that's fantastic. Now, what if a kid comes in and they're not sure? Is there some kind of guidance that?
Well, they can try out a few instruments. I mean, I know someone who tried out piano, and she was pretty good at it, and then she started violin as well. So she's very good at both of them now. So
right.
you can continue.
Now, what
doing more than
about
one
the
instrument.
what about the instruments? How do you get instruments for the kids?
We actually do have some instruments that we can loan students if they'd like, and some of them are very fine instruments. Some of the violins that we have, for instance, are beautiful instruments. But many students choose either to rent instruments, especially when they're trying to figure out if it's an instrument they want to commit to.
Right, before they buy something.
Yeah,
Sure.
or they'll buy something. It really varies depending on the interest. Now, Pam, your story was that you had a flute when you began, but
I love
many
that.
Right.
yeah, but many of the New Horizons students will rent an instrument the first year, and then after they've been in the band for a year, then they'll commit and buy an instrument.
Now, what about the size of instruments? Because I know in violins they make different sizes for little kids. Do they do that with guitars, or?
Yeah, this is actually my third guitar because
Okay.
when I
As
started
you
when I was
grow.
6 years old, I had a half-size guitar, which went to around here.
Okay, I didn't even know they had
so,
those.
Yeah, I started with that, and then I got a full-size guitar, and this is a better full-size guitar.
Okay, then you upped it up a little bit. Right?
Right. Now, Pam Pierre, what are some of the what are some of the instruments in the band you're in the New Horizons band?
We have 5 flutes, 5 clarinets, 1 bassoonist, 1 big sax with the wavy thing. Is that alto?
I think so.
And 2 medium saxes, 2 trombones sometimes, 3 trumpets,
And a French horn.
and a French horn.
Oh.
And Charles, who plays the French horn, sometimes does arrangements for us,
Okay.
which is, so there are just a lot of different levels of talent and interest.
And where are some of the places that folks can see the New Horizons band?
Some of the what?
Some of the places, some of the venues. What are
Some upcoming gigs.
upcoming
We,
events?
in the spring, we played at the Green Oasis Community Garden on May 1st, and I think we're hoping for a fall concert. And I don't know, are we going to do another music concert, Nancy?
Oh, we're going to do many music concerts. This is just the beginning.
Oh,
This is just the
okay.
beginning.
You also mentioned earlier that you played at a homeless shelter or a hotel or
A residence. I
a
guess
residence. Yes.
Nancy
Do you do
rephrased
that?
it.
Do you do things like that often?
Well,
or?
I think we are going to be poised and ready to do that more often. A lot of the people are retired. A lot of the people still work, so it's a matter of scheduling. But I think people love it enough, and they want to give back, and they want to do it, so they try to make time.
And I should mention that the reason that we're able to do this is because we've been able to get funding that's dedicated to this program. And Third Street actually raises about 30% of its budget from either dedicated or general contributions that come in. And it's a lot of work on the part of our development office
I bet.
and
yeah.
our executive director. But what's great is that we have specific funding coming in from MetLife, the Jean and Louis Dreyfus Foundation, and as Pam mentioned, the National Endowment of the Arts gave us our seed funding to get started. So that's enabled us to offer this program for very, very low fees.
So thank you very much, Nancy Morgan and Pam Pierre and J.T. Schaefer for joining us on Let Them Talk. And congratulations, good work, good luck.
See you at the concert.
Thank you, Paul and
Thank
Jill.
you.
All right.